not every anime movie has to destroy your soul. In a medium known for tragic farewells and heartbreak, it's rare and refreshing to find a film that ends not in sorrow, but in hope. Today, we're counting down 10 modern anime movies that deliver emotional depth without leaving you shattered. From quiet romances to magical adventures, these are stories that heal, uplift, and stay with you long after the credits roll. This list is 100% spoiler-free, so relax, enjoy, and maybe find your next favorite comfort film. Let's begin. If you've never seen Your Name, you've likely heard of it, and for good reason. Directed by Makoto Shinkai, this film blends body swapping, time travel, and star-crossed romance into a cinematic experience unlike any other. It follows two high schoolers, a girl from a rural town and a boy from Tokyo. They mysteriously begin waking up in each other's bodies. At first, it's playful, awkward, and even funny. But as their connection deepens, so does the mystery behind what's really bringing them together. The animation is jaw-droppingly beautiful. From sweeping shots of comet-lit skies to intimate slices of daily life, every frame feels purposeful. But what truly makes Your Name special is how it balances its fantastical premise with universal human emotion, longing, connection, and the ache of missing someone you've never really met. It's emotional without being tragic, sentimental without being cliché. And yes, the ending delivers. It's the kind of film that fills your chest with something soft and warm, a true modern classic. This is one of those quiet, criminally underrated gems that you stumble upon and immediately want to share. Set during a single summer, the story follows a socially anxious boy who writes haiku and a lively girl with braces and a big online following. They meet by accident and form an unlikely bond through poetry, music, and shared vulnerability. What makes this film stand out isn't just the art style, though its pastel colors and bubbly visuals are a treat, but how gently it approaches self-expression and insecurity. The boy struggles to speak, but his words still carry meaning. The girl hides behind a mask, but her personality shines through. Together, they push each other toward growth. There's no big, world-ending conflict here, just two young people figuring out how to be seen and heard. It's nostalgic, wholesome, and full of those little moments that define growing up. If you've ever had a summer that changed your life, or wish you did, this one's for you. Imagine being able to escape reality by turning into a cat. Sounds fun, right? In A Whisker Away, that fantasy becomes a reality for Mio, a quirky, cheerful girl who uses a special mask to get close to the boy she loves, literally by transforming into a cat named Taro. On the surface, it's whimsical and sweet, full of beautiful sunsets, neighborhood streets, and classic schoolyard crushes. But underneath the magic is a story about self-worth, identity, and the pain of feeling invisible. Mio's cheerfulness hides something deeper. And as the lines between her human life and her cat form begin to blur, the film explores how escapism, even magical, can't substitute for being truly understood. It's a coming-of-age story disguised as a fantasy, one that doesn't shy away from heavier emotions, but never tips over into darkness. With its Studio Ghibli-esque charm and heartfelt resolution, A Whisker Away delivers an ending that's emotionally satisfying and hopeful. Exactly what you'd want from a feel-good anime. This is perhaps the most emotionally complex movie on the list. But don't worry, we're still keeping things spoiler-free. A Silent Voice begins with Shoya, a boy who once bullied a deaf girl named Shoko in elementary school. Years later, consumed by guilt and isolated from others, he sets out to make amends. What follows is not just a redemption arc, it's a deep dive into themes like shame, empathy, loneliness, and forgiveness. Every character feels like someone you've met, or maybe even been. The animation by Kyoto Animation adds a soft, melancholic beauty to the story, while the sound design, especially important given the subject, is handled with care and sensitivity. But here's the best part. This movie doesn't leave you in despair. It shows that healing is possible, that change is real, and that even people who've made terrible mistakes can grow into someone better. A Silent Voice hurts, but it heals more. And when it ends, it doesn't feel like closure. It feels like a beginning. If Your Name is about destiny, Ride Your Wave is about letting go. It tells the story of Hinako, a surfer who's just moved to a seaside town, and the firefighter she falls in love with. But life, as it often does, takes a tragic turn. What follows is a deeply emotional exploration of grief, growth, and moving forward. The film uses water, in all its forms, as a powerful metaphor for love, memory, and resilience. And yet, despite the heavy subject matter, it never sinks into hopelessness. In fact, it floats. The visuals are gorgeous, soft, bright, and fluid, and the soundtrack, especially that theme song, will stay in your head and heart. It's a movie that says, it's okay to hold on to memories, but don't forget to live. By the end, you'll feel a bittersweet mix of sadness and peace. The kind that reminds you it's okay to cry and smile at the same time. Josee, the Tiger and the Fish is a rare blend of emotional vulnerability and uplifting romance. It follows Tsuneo, a marine biology student, and Josee, a young woman with a disability who rarely leaves her home. What begins as a reluctant arrangement quickly evolves into something more meaningful. Josee is prickly, stubborn, and imaginative. Tsuneo is kind, grounded, and patient. Their chemistry unfolds through quiet, sincere moments, not grand gestures. The film gracefully explores the balance between independence and support, between protecting someone and empowering them. It doesn't sugarcoat the challenges of living with a disability, but it also doesn't let it define Josee's entire identity. The art is vibrant, with warm colors and dreamlike sequences that reflect Josee's inner world. The ocean becomes a symbol of both fear and freedom. And by the end, both characters have grown in ways neither could have predicted. It's romantic, but not cheesy. Emotional, but not manipulative. And when the credits roll, you're left with the kind of hope that lingers. A quietly powerful film that proves love is not about fixing someone, it's about seeing them. Post-apocalypse Tokyo. Gravity-defying parkour battles. A boy with a mysterious past. Bubble might sound like a sci-fi action spectacle, and it is, but at its heart, it's a poetic, symbolic story about isolation, curiosity, and connection. The world of Bubble is beautiful and strange. After a global event causes bubbles to disrupt gravity, Tokyo becomes an abandoned playground for orphans and outcasts. Among them is Hibiki, a skilled but emotionally distant boy who hears a mysterious song, and then meets a girl born from the bubbles themselves. What follows is part fairy tale, part action film, part metaphor for how we form bonds in a world that often feels broken. The animation from Wit Studio is absolutely stunning, with flowing camera movements and spectacular urban landscapes. The score, composed by Hiroyuki Sawano, turns simple scenes into emotional swells. But beyond the visuals is a gentle story about learning to reach out again, to trust, to feel, to be vulnerable. Even if the plot gets abstract, the emotional core lands, and the ending, while fantastical, is quietly uplifting. Imagine finding a secret door in your mirror, and on the other side, a castle. For Kokoro, a girl struggling with anxiety and isolation, this surreal discovery becomes the gateway to a strange but healing adventure. Lonely Castle in the Mirror gathers 7 teens, each carrying their own invisible wounds, into a magical realm where they don't have to pretend anymore. They play, bond, open up, and slowly begin to confront the reasons they've withdrawn from the world. What sets this film apart is its tender approach to mental health. It doesn't dramatize trauma, and it doesn't force solutions. Instead, it offers space for understanding, empathy, and slow healing. There's a quiet strength in its message. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone is enough to begin changing everything. The animation is soft and dreamlike, and the pacing is deliberate, like a long, deep breath. It's a story that starts with sadness, but ends in something close to peace. If you've ever felt like no one sees you, this movie will. What if the best father figure you ever had was a beast from another world? From director Mamoru Hosoda comes The Boy and the Beast, a fantastical story about found family, identity, and growing up. Ren, a young boy angry at the world, stumbles into a parallel realm filled with anthropomorphic creatures. There, he's reluctantly taken in by Kumatetsu, A loud, brash warrior who's just as stubborn and emotionally stunted as the boy himself. Their dynamic is chaotic at first. Think tough love meets accidental parenting. But over time, a bond forms that's more genuine than anything Ren's experienced in the human world. What makes this film resonate isn't just the action or the fantasy setting. It's how it captures the clumsy, painful, beautiful process of becoming someone better for another person. Themes of mentorship, fatherhood, and inner strength are woven into the film's DNA. And while the story has its intense moments, it never forgets its emotional center. The ending delivers not just closure, but warmth. The kind of warmth that makes you want to call your mentor, your dad, or anyone who's ever believed in you when you didn't. Based on a short manga by Tatsuki Fujimoto, creator of Chainsaw Man, Look Back is a stark contrast to his usual chaotic style. This is a quiet, introspective film about two girls, Fujino and Kiyomoto, who meet through their shared love of drawing manga. Their friendship begins with rivalry, grows through mutual respect, and becomes a source of deep personal transformation. The story spans years in under an hour, yet every moment is rich with meaning. It explores artistic passion, self-doubt, grief, and legacy with remarkable restraint. There are no big action sequences or magical worlds here, just pencils, sketchbooks, and a relationship that changes the trajectory of both lives. What's astonishing is how Look Back evokes so much emotion with so little dialogue. The quiet speaks louder than words. By the end, you're not left wrecked, you're reflective. There's loss, yes, but also beauty in creation, memory, and continuing the work someone started. It's a gentle gut punch, but one that ultimately heals. Artistic, honest, unforgettable. And that wraps up our list. 10 modern anime movies that remind us, emotional doesn't always mean depressing. These stories tackle real struggles. Grief, loneliness, love, identity, but they do so with tenderness and hope. Which one are you watching first? Or did we miss your personal favorite feel-good anime film? Let us know in the comments. We're always looking for more. And if you enjoyed this list, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who could use a comfort watch. Until next time, keep watching anime that makes you feel and feel better.